The views and opinions expressed by the speaker, host, commentator, or other third party in Ariva webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass are those of the speaker, host, commentator, or third party and do not necessarily reflect and represent the views and opinions of Ariva. Furthermore, Ariva does not warrant, express, or imply the merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose of any product information, service, or process presented by the speaker, host, commentator, or third party, and Ariva specifically disclaims any legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, completeness, or usefulness of any product information, service, or process presented. Finally, material or information presentation, opinion, process, or service by on any trade name, trademark, manufacturer, or otherwise during Ariva webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass do not constitute or imply Ariva's endorsement or recommendation of such opinion, process, service, item, or organization.
And we are live. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon to everyone who are watching us right now. Welcome to another free e-learning session brought to you by Ariva Academy. My name is Irish Malanda Samson, and I will be your host and moderator for today. Okay, welcome to our strategic downsizing in the time of COVID-19. Reducing team members in a legal, fair, and humane way. So before I introduce our speaker and before we start, I would like first to greet our out of the country participants, and they are watching from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Good afternoon. Singapore, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Jakarta, Indonesia, and Bangkok, Thailand. Welcome to Ariva e-learning session. And now, of course, in order for us to have a smooth flow of our e-learning session, here are the following house rules. Who are the first-time viewers of our webinar, please type hi in the chat box now and let us know where you're watching right now. Good afternoon, Ma'am Leia Hermosa. Okay, anyone from Quezon City, Makati, from out of town, please type in hi. If this is your first time watching our webinar, Ms. Hazel, welcome po. Okay, Ms. Stella Marie, Josefa Apaw. Okay, Gurley Alegre is from Quezon City. Welcome to Ariva webinar, Jessa Sionilo and Marianne Baliscot. Good afternoon as well to Miss Kessely from Tarlac and Jennifer Duenas. Okay, so let's do an audio check. Please use the following codes. Type in 111 to show if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, thank you, Maurice. Marge from Pasig City, thank you. Jocelyn 111. Okay, type in 222 if you cannot hear me, no sound at all. 2121 means the sound is breaking up or there's a log, and question mark if you don't understand anything. Thank you, Cheryl. Mary Vanessa 111. Thank you, Mavic. Miss Mavic. Rochelle. Thank you. Leia Hermosa. Okay. I am loud and clear and audible. Thank you so much. Moving on. We will be having a quick break later after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our question and answer portion. Okay, Maria Teresa Rivera's first time to watch Ariva webinar and she is from Bulacan. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click the raise hand button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Later, at the Q&A portion, we will entertain live questions from our Zoom participants. Okay? Type in your questions at the Q&A box again, at the Q&A box. One question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. Please send us your comments, suggestions, and suggested topics to discuss in order for us to improve our future e-learning sessions. Hi to Miss Presi Manaloto, who is watching at our YouTube page po. Thank you for watching us. And now I will be introducing our speaker. But first and foremost, please let me know if you're ready. You have your pens and papers with you. Please type in Ariva in the chat box now. Let me know if you're ready. Okay. Let's check. Thank you, Vanessa, Jean, Girly, Hazel. Thank you, Ariva. Okay. So our speaker has 12 rich years of experience in the field of law. A graduate of UP College of Law, he is currently the managing partner for Legal Access Law Offices, a law office firm based in Eastwood City, Philippines. He is also the author of 3 books, and his articles have been featured on Entrepreneur Magazine, WhenInManila.com, and his legal blog, thelegalguide.ph. He also gives monthly workshops for legal topics offered to the public, particularly labor law and employee discipline. In addition, he serves on the board of trustees for the Philippine Advocates for Consultants and Trainers, a nationwide association of workshop leaders. He believes that the part of lawyers' duty is to spread awareness and empower the people by educating them. He will simply converse with you using real-life stories to let the law come to life. Everyone, without further ado, let us all welcome Attorney Erwin Zagala.
Hey guys!
Hello, Attorney. Good afternoon.
So I have a question for the participants. How many of you would like some clear directions on how to proceed during this time of COVID? Type number 1 in the chat box. I want to see. Clear directions, good. And how many of you would like some help managing your team members? Type number 2. Let's see. Ayan. I'm happy to see that. That's what we'll be tackling this afternoon. So, guys, this is my third talk with Ariva, and welcome. My name is Attorney Erwin Zagala, and welcome to our talk this afternoon: strategic downsizing in the time of COVID-19, reducing team members in a legal, fair, and humane way. Okay, so before I get started, of course, I want to thank my ever supportive supporter, Irish and JM. Thank you so much for having me back. It's always a pleasure to help out your participants and your viewers. It's always an enjoyable experience. And aside from thanking Irish and JM, of course, I want to thank you guys, the participants, because you are taking the time to learn about the different kinds of remedies that are available to you under the law. And I think that's commendable. Thank you so much for spending the time with me this afternoon. And I promise to make it as fruitful and informative as I possibly can. Now, what exactly are we supposed to talk about this afternoon? So kung mapapansin nyo sa title natin, parang medyo may laman na legal, fair, and humane. And that's on purpose because actually, retrenchment, oh, pasensya na, may dumaan na ambulansya. Maingay, maingay. Okay, I hope that makes it clearer na, guys. So we'll be tackling the 3 areas that I think people need help with when coming to a decision whether to undergo retrenchment proceedings. So, attorney, ano ba yung retrenchment? Retrenchment po, ang ibig sabihin, pagbabawas po ng mga tao. So, tatanggalin po natin yung employment ng ilang tao, but again, it's not as simple as it seems. There are 3 aspects. The first of all is legal. I will be teaching you what the law says. Ano ba sinasabi? Pwede ba talaga to, attorney? Kung sakaling pwede, paano ba gawin na hindi kami pwede mabalikan? So that's the first portion of our talk. Next is, oo nga, kung sakaling sinabi ng batas na pwedeng gawin, how do I do it in a fair way? Diba? Paano ko pipiliin kung sino sa team members ko yung eligible for retrenchment? So I will be talking about that. Medyo mahirap po na topic ito for a business owner or a manager or a boss. But these are things we have to contend with in this time. And then finally, on number one, di ba? Legal. Pwede ba yan or hindi? Number two, fair. Paano gawin fairly para malaman natin kung sino yung maapektuhan? And then number three, how do we do it in a humane way? How do we respect yung pagkatao naman nung empleyado who will be subjected to this proceeding? So tatlo po yan. Most people think kapag abogado po, nako, walang puso yan. Ang tutok lang yan, whether legal or hindi. No. It can't be a singular decision. It has to cover all three for it to be effective. Okay? So by the end of this afternoon, hopefully matransfer ko sa inyo some thoughts I have about it, some recommendations, and along the line, magkukwento ko a little bit about my experiences helping my clients and students undergo that. Sounds good? If that sounds good, please chat okay in the chat box. I want to see. Okay. Ayan, mabilis. Mukhang happy naman sila Irish dun sa topics natin.
Yes, attorney. Well, actually, this topic is very sensitive, especially nowadays, during this pandemic. But we have to, as business owners, diba? We have to do that.
Not a lot of people know, but I run a blog, legal blog. It's called legalguy.ph. Actually, introduce ko mamaya yun. But on a weekly basis, I get questions on this. So sinabi ko nga sa sarili ko, Irish, might as well I'll do a talk kasi medyo umuulit-ulit yung tanong. Might as well matulungan ko na yung mga tao. Now, we have 97 participants. Malapit na pumalo ng 100. At least ito, we get to help 100 people all at the same time. Di ba?
By the way, aside from Zoom, attorney, we also have viewers from FB and LinkedIn and YouTube.
Well, the more the merrier. Again, as I said, these are very confusing times, and the more people we can help get over this together, diba? It will be better for everyone. Now, guys, before we get started, parang minsan nakakailang kasi na makikinig ka from someone you don't know. Would it be okay with you guys if I tell you a little bit about myself before we get started? Please press OK in the chat box, if that's okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, my name is Attorney Erwin Zagala, but to friends and family, they call me Attorney Zag. Now, since naging estudyante na kita during this talk, feel free to call me by my nickname. So, I'm Attorney Zag to most students and clients, and I'm a third-generation lawyer. What does that mean? Mula sa pagkalolo all the way to the magulang, on both sides, mga abogado po kami, and I happen to be an only child. So, wala po talaga akong pupuntahan mula pagkabata pa. Mukhang doon na talaga papunta yung career track ko. So back in college, I finished legal management with Ateneo, and then I studied my Bachelor of Laws and got it from University of the Philippines, Diliman. My legal career started back in law school. I was a working student, actually working for a human rights organization. So during law school, I was liaising with government agencies, DOJ, Supreme Court, PNP, and I was helping out administer criminal law here in the Philippines, not just with local agencies. I was also liaising between them and international organizations. I was working for Asia Foundation and USAID at the time. And from that experience, I learned how the law affects society as a whole. Very valuable. Nakita ko na parang, okay, so ito pala ang epekto ng batas sa society. After I passed the bar in 2006, I went into private practice. I applied in a law firm in Ortigas, and for 2 years, I was an associate. There, I practiced private law. So that includes labor, criminal, civil, admin, and the focus was on individuals and businesses. So from there, I learned how the law affects individuals and businesses. So nag-iba na konti yung focus. Now, after 2 years of that, I tried my hand at government service. I applied and got accepted as a legal officer for one of our GOCCs, which has over 10,000 employees nationwide. And very valuable experience. I got the chance to craft policies and enforce policies on a nationwide basis. From that experience, natuto naman ako how regulation is created and enforced. And as a bonus, I got assignments from the GOCC to do teaching. I taught the law nationwide. So from there, doon ko naintindihan, uy, gusto ko pala magturo. So after 5 years with the GOCC, I kind of felt a longing. Sabi ko, I think it's about time to move on. And I decided to put up my own law firm. By this time, I was already practicing for around 8 years. Sabi ko, pwede na to, medyo hinug na. I have enough experience, I have enough contacts to be able to run an office independently. But I didn't want my law firm to be just another law firm. I wanted to be able to help people in a deeper way. And upon reflection, I noticed that regardless of what function I did, whether as an NGO worker, private practitioner, government officer, there were always three things that the people had with regard to their relationship with the law. Number one, they always found the law intimidating. Nakakatakot yung batas. Minsan hindi pa nakakatulong na nakakatakot yung mga abogado kausapin or tanungin. So ang nagiging effect nito, when people are intimidated by the law, the intimidation prevents them from taking action. Dahil nga takot, hindi makagalaw. And finally, dahil hindi makagalaw, they actually get into deeper trouble. So kawawa sabi ko, how can I change that? And that's when it hit me. I can actually marry the two things that I love doing. Uh, uh, Being a practitioner, lawyer, with regards to the law, and teaching it. So I, along with my partners, we created legal access law offices. It's an education-based law practice based in Eastwood City. We cater primarily to SMEs and family business. What that means is hindi lang po kami nagpo-provide ng legal services. We actually take the extra step, tinitrain po namin yung mga kliyente, ano po yung sinasabi ng batas, so that they understand it and it's easier for them to understand why our recommendations are this way and this way and that way. In addition, in 2014, we created our training arm. It's Legal Guide Philippines. So the Legal Guide Philippines is housed in www.legalguide.ph. There, we provide free articles, tips, workshops, as well as books. So the main mission of Legal Guide Philippines, we simplify the law to help people make better choices. Again, papasimplihin ko yung batas so that makagalaw ka. You understand what it says, you understand how the law can help you, and you get motivated to move. And that's exactly what I intend to do for you guys right now. This afternoon, I want to simplify as much as I can, strategic downsizing. Why? It's very, very apparent to me na this is one of the touchier topics when it comes to clients and business owners. Mahirap, masakit magtanggal ng tao, correct? Masakit na nga hindi mo pa maintindihan. So aside from masakit emotionally, nakakatakot pa kasi what if you do something wrong? 'Di ba? Mababalikan pa ba ako? Right now you're trying to do a very delicate balancing act. How do you ensure the continuation of your business, but at the same time, as much as possible, how do you take care of your employees, correct? O kung may nakaka-relate dyan, can you please type in the chat box, I can relate. I can relate. Kasi ako, yung mga nakakausap ko personally, these are the stories that I get. And you guys being here in this webinar class, that says a lot to me that you guys probably are undergoing the same thing. Diba? Ayan, no? Ang dami talaga nakaka-relate. So I designed this afternoon session. Basically, I wanted to replicate na, kunwari, hinatak ninyo ako sa coffee shop. Attorney, can I have 1 hour of your time? Baka naman pwedeng explain mo sa akin how this works and at least malinawan lang ako. So let's replicate that. Kunwari, nagkapihan lang tayo, di ba? Tapos, I have 1 hour to tell you as much as I can about what I understand and what my tips are. And hopefully, you walk away from here with a clearer direction and you know what to do. Okay? Now, okay. Just some details. Number one, attorney, parang hindi gumagalaw yung PowerPoint mo. Hindi talaga gagalaw yan. I opted not to do a PowerPoint for this session. Why? I want you guys to focus on me. I am just talking to you. I will do my best to try and simplify everything. What I've seen is the more visuals, usually yung mga tao, especially if it's an emotional topic like this one, they get lost in the visuals. Imbis na nakikinig, na as if magkausap tayo para mas bumaon yung message, mas bumaon yung understanding, mas tumututok pa sa visual. So forget PowerPoint. You will not see a PowerPoint from me this afternoon. And I feel it's unnecessary because I will be able to explain everything. So just focus on me and what I have to say. Okay? So baka mamaya may mga magtanong, attorney, can you send a copy of the PowerPoint? Wala po tayong PowerPoint. Okay? Let's get that out of the way habang maaga. Now, a few house rules before we get started. Ito, malapit na guys. Don't worry. Number one, what we're talking about here, this is considered legal information. It's not legal advice. Attorney, ano pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Well, legal information, I will talk about the topic and try to deliver the information to you. Legal advice is the application of that information to your particular situation. So basically, kinostom fit para sa sitwasyon ninyo. How can we do that? Yung transmission of information, it's just one way. So I want you to treat everything here as legal information. What does that mean? Number one, you're responsible if you apply it. Okay? Before you apply it, guys, check it out with your legal, with your HR, para lang panigurado na pasok siya sa situation ninyo. Okay? And if you choose to apply it, you are solely responsible. I don't want to get any emails na, attorney, in-apply ko yung tinuro mo dun sa sa webinar, hindi naman gumana. Guys, again, this is information. Treat this as a starting point. Okay? So be sure to check it out with a professional before you apply it. And in case you want to apply it, you are solely responsible for any consequences. Okay, malinaw yan, ha? Okay, next. If you guys need help, I am available via Attorney Zag at legalguide.ph. Kasi sometimes yung iba, attorney, sinabi mo, ito yung information, you check it out with your legal. Wala po kami legal. Depending on where you are, guys, let me know if you're looking for a trustworthy legal team. And depending on where you are, I'll make recommendations. We have a lot of friends naman who are accepting clients at this point in time. Okay? And then next is participation. Guys, for those of you guys who are participating in the chat box, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's feedback for me. I can't tell you guys how hard it is to lecture to webcam versus yung dati. Dati kasi I used to do this almost on a monthly basis. Kaharap mo yung mga tao. I get to see how you guys are understanding it. Kamusta yung pick up? May mga tanong ba? Right now, I'm kind of visually impaired. I can't see you guys. So every time I ask you guys for feedback, please participate. Okay? Yan na lang ang pinangahawakan ko. It's my only link to you guys, and I really want to make sure that I'm able to transmit as much as I can. Agree? If yes, please put it in the chat box. Agree.
And don't worry,
Okay,
Attorney Sag, I will be here throughout your presentation.
Okay, good to hear. Okay, so I guess that's it for my introduction, and I think we're ready to rock. First off, okay, so sasagutin ko na yung tanong ng karamihan. Let's get it out of the way. Attorney, pwede bang magtanggal ng tao in the time of COVID? Okay, so guys, ang daming tanong na lumalabas ng ganito, and there are some employees na nakikita ko sa mga forum, nakikita ko sa feedback, mga tanong ng mga kliyente ko, ha, na attorney, lumapit sa amin yung empleyado, dinidisciplinary procedure ko. Ang sagot mo naman sa akin, subukan niyo ako tanggalin, bawal magtanggal ngayon dahil COVID, blah blah blah. So there seems to be a lot of misconceptions regarding what the rules are when it comes to COVID. So I want to make some things clear. Number one, disciplinary procedures were never, I repeat, never suspended. So kung sakaling may violation during the time of COVID, pwede pa rin po natin i-hold accountable ang mga empleyado. Now, next question. Attorney, pwede ba talaga tayong magtanggal ng tao through retrenchment or other authorized causes during COVID? Yes, the right was never suspended. Let me be clear with that. What the DOL said was, employers, managers, owners, as much as possible, pangalagaan po natin yung mga empleyado. However, it never prevented the exercise of termination powers. So let's be clear with that, guys, ha? Malinaw na ba? I hope so. So that understanding is very crucial for everything that I'm going to be saying afterwards. Okay? So para lang sagutin uli yung tanong, pwede bang magtanggal kahit na pandemic, kahit na COVID? Yes, pwede po. What's the basis? It's the same basis that we've always had. The labor code was not suspended as a result of the pandemic. So kung sakali may disciplinary measures, may authorized causes for termination, it can be done. All that the dole said was try to avoid it as much as possible out of consideration to employees. And I agree with that. Okay. Next question is, attorney, ano ba tong sinasabi na downsizing? Ano ba tong sinasabi na retrenchment? Okay. So retrenchment, it's one of the authorized causes. What's the word again? Authorized causes for termination. Attorney, why are you making a distinction? Bakit parang ini-emphasize mo? Okay, kasi dalawang klase yung pwedeng grounds para magtanggal ka ng tao under the labor code. One is just causes, the other is authorized causes. Very important that you understand the difference between the two. Just causes, ibig sabihin just, makatarungan, tama lang. Ito yung mga rason kung bakit tama lang natanggalin mo yung empleyado. What are some examples? Ninakawang ka, hindi nagpapapasok, pabaya sa trabaho. Sa madaling salita, just causes, ito po, may kasalanan ginawa yung empleyado. That's why karapat dapat lang pong tanggalin natin. Okay? Legally speaking, the proper terminology is just causes. They include serious misconduct and willful disobedience, gross and habitual neglect, pwedeng commission of a crime. Yeah, so yun yung mga yun. If you want a fuller list, you can just Google just causes for termination. Now, ang focus natin for this talk is authorized causes. Authorized causes meaning, okay, wala namang ginawang kasalanan yung tao, yung empleyado. However, because of the circumstances that the business finds itself in, no choice po yung negosyo kung hindi magtatanggal ng tao. Kasi ang sinasabi naman po ng batas, binabalanse po yan na parang, oo nga, we're trying to protect employees' rights, pero at the same time, we're also trying to protect employers' rights. Kailangan po balanse yan eh. So, ito pong authorized causes, these are certain circumstances wherein, again, lilinawin ko po, ito malinaw, walang kasalanan yung empleyado, but because of the circumstances, pinapayagan po ng batas na magtanggal ka. What are examples? Number one, installation of labor-saving devices. Basically, napalitan po kayo ng robot. Di ba? There are Supreme Court cases saying na kung sakaling may machine po na pumalit dun sa function ng isang tao, an employer isn't required to maintain the employee kung may gumagawa na. Di ba? Kasi unfair din naman na bayad ka ng bayad ng sweldo, may makinarya ka na gumagawa. So that's one example of an authorized cause. The particular authorized cause that I want to talk about this afternoon is retrenchment. Anong ibig sabihin ng retrenchment? Let's simplify things. In one sentence, this is how I would say it. Tagilid yung negosyo ko, there are serious losses, and ang nakikita ko na lang way magtanggal ng tao for the business to survive. So, under the law, ang sinasabi, ang retrenchment po pwedeng gawin if there are substantial, serious, actual, or imminent losses. So kapag tagilid po yung negosyo, binibigay po ng option ng batas sa mga employers na magtanggal po or magbawas ng tao to keep the business afloat. Yan po yung pinag-uusapan natin this afternoon. I won't be spending time on the other authorized causes. I will be focusing on retrenchment. Okay, so malinaw na ba? Hopefully malinaw na sa inyo. I'm trying to paint a picture of what retrenchment looks like para when you encounter it in the field, masasabi niyo na, okay, ito nga yun. Okay? So hopefully kumakabit po guys ha. Okay, so retrenchment. Okay. So serious substantial losses. Ang sinasabi po ng batas dito, retrenchment is something that you don't take lightly. Hindi pwedeng na parang, uy, paano ba natin tataasan yung profit margin this quarter? Ay, magtanggal ka ng tao dyan. No. Hindi po ganun ang pinag-uusapan natin ha. And guys, if you're doing that, shame on you. Lahat ng tao na may problema right now. And guys, something like this has to go through a very stringent thought process. Guys, we are talking about the careers of people. I only advocate retrenchment as a final solution. Ibig sabihin, ang dami mo nang tinry before ka pang nag-decide na mag-retrench. Okay? And even the law reflects that. You should be able to show na efforts were made before you do retrenchment. Hindi pwedeng, easy solution, magbawas tayo ng tao. No, you have to be able to show that other efforts were done. And when we go to the third part of my talk, that will make sense. Okay, so in case you are contemplating retrenchment, here's the thought process. Number one, I want you to document ano ba yung mga ways na in-explore na ninyo to be able to keep the business afloat. Well, pwede nagbawas muna kami ng marketing budget, attorney, or nag-cost cutting muna kami, or tinanggal muna namin itong company outing, or ganito. I want you to document that kasi at some point, kung sakaling i-contest yung retrenchment, you have to be able to show that serious efforts were made before you guys decided on retrenchment. Kailangan maipakita kasi ninyo talagang no other way possible. Ito na po talaga yung last solution. Okay? So please document all of the efforts that you guys made to be able to try to avert, but again, bumagsak ka din sa retrenchment. Next, kung sakaling nakapag-decide ka na talaga ng retrenchment, here is the procedure under the labor code. 30 days before, again, how many days? 30. Wag po natin kakalimutan yung magic number na yan. 30 days before, you have to inform the employee and the DOLE that you intend to retrench some employees. Okay, so in the third part of this talk, I'll teach you how to draft the letter to the employees. But insofar as the DOLE is concerned, yung notification po na ini-expect nila, I would refer you to Labor Advisory 17-A, if I'm not mistaken. And there it says you should use RKS form number 5 for reporting. So pretty much self-explanatory naman po yung form na yon. Attorney, where can I get that? Very easy po. You just type www.google.com. Google po. Google lang po. Lalabas yan. Okay? So RKS form, or you can use the search term retrenchment reporting form. More often than not, ang una pong lalabas sa Google natin would be the DOLE website. Why am I advocating for that? You have to be updated kasi nagbabago-bago po yan from time to time. Might as well, kung sakaling you decide on a certain day, i-double check na lang din ninyo kung yung form po na gagamitin nyo, it's still the form that's recommended by DOLE. Wala naman po masama na mag-check, di ba? Let's not be complacent about it. Okay, so 30 days before, di ba? In-inform na natin yung DOLE. In-inform na rin natin yung empleyado. Yung sa empleyado po, ang advice ko, you do it through a letter. So attorney, ano ba dapat na nakasulat nun? Very simple. The absolute basics, Mr. Employee, we regret to inform you that the management has decided to retrench your position. This retrenchment will be effective on ano yung date? Ano yung date? Sige nga, kung nakikinig kayo, the date should be at least, how many days? Sige nga, pasulat sa chat. Tingnan ko, 30 days. Very good. 30 days after yung effectivity. Attorney, can it be more? Well, yes, no problem with that. Kung sakaling 60 days, I think that's permissible. Wag lang kayong bababa ng 30 days. Why? Because that will be considered a violation of your employee's procedural due process. Pwede po kayong kasuhan for that. Okay? Iniiwasan po natin yan. Okay? So notice, dalawa, to DOLE through RKS form number 5 and to the employee. Okay, attorney, any other tips pagdating po dun sa letter na binibigay sa employee? You have to have 2 copies. 2 copies. Attorney, bakit 2 copies? Kasi yung isa ibibigay mo, yung isa ipapa-receive mo. Ang importante sa aming mga legal, okay? Legal department, yung kopya po na may pirma because that is proof that you complied with the 30-day notice requirement. Assuming na magkagulo, yun po yung bala na dadalhin namin sa gera to be able to protect you. Make sense? Okay, so 2 copies. Attorney, paano kung right now hindi sila nagre-report? Then you send it to their last known address. Ipa-LTC ninyo or other private courier. I would prefer na something with a tracking number that would be easier to uh, use as evidence. Okay? So you send it. Ang point lang naman po natin, we complied with the 30-day notification period. Okay, so attorney, yung 30 days na yun, bayad po ba kung sakali? Yan ang usual na tanong. For me, if you had them work during that final 30-day period, then I think they should be paid for that. Attorney, what if they're not reporting for work? Depends. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan lang naman ng batas, they should be considered as employed within the next 30 days. So kung ano po yung kalakaran ninyo right now for these people, kung sakaling no work, no pay kayo, then I don't see any reason why they should be paid. Kasi as if employed sila dapat for the next 30 days and then you don't treat them any differently. Okay? Siguro, during the last 30 days, take the opportunity, treat it as if parang turnover ng resignation, di ba? So, lahat ng kailangan nyo from the employee, lahat ng mga kailangan ayusin, kunin na ninyo. Or kung kunwari may kailangan ba siyang ituro for other employees or i-turn over the files or nako, may kailangan ipagbilin, go ahead, do it within the 30 days. Okay? So make the most out of the 30 days kasi the 30 days isn't just for the employee, it's also for you. Now, may mga tanong usually dyan. Attorney, nung nag-inform kami kasi naghanap na ng ibang trabaho, would it be possible na pakawalan ko na lang earlier? Okay. Ito medyo gray area, guys. Why? Kasi kung sakaling kasuhan kayo with the DOLE, ang unang i-check is, did you comply with the 30 days? What if siya mismo yung umalis? Okay? So you would have to go through the process of proving na parang, well, yung empleyado po kasi, sir, ang voluntarily umalis kasi nakahanap na ng trabaho. Okay, so I'm going to be making a recommendation for you guys, medyo conservative going all the way to aggressive. Okay? So what's the conservative stance, attorney? Ako, bibigay ko na yan. Kasi parang tinanggalan mo na ng trabaho, di ba? Ibibigay ko na yung sweldo for that period kung sakali. What's the moderate stance? Well, kakausapin ko yung empleyado na parang, may 15 days ka pa to report. Are you asking me if it's possible na hindi ka na mag-report? If you are, please send a letter please send a letter to management asking kung pwedeng 15 days na lang yung i-report mo. Okay, and what's the aggressive stance? Okay, again, as I told you guys, for the next 30 days, walang pinagkaiba yung tao sa ibang empleyado ninyo. So kung di siya biglang pumasok, I can actually cite them for AWOL. Okay, attorney, among all of those remedies, what would you recommend? I'll probably go with the conservative. Guys, paalis na to eh. And considering na pandemic, lahat na pwede ko ibigay sa empleyado, I would probably give it. Pero kung masama ang ugali ng empleyado na hanggang dulo talagang pasaway, then you might want to consider the aggressive methods. Just make sure it's in line with the procedures talaga para hindi ka mapahamak. Okay? Next. So after the 30 days, attorney, ang dapat lang ba nilang matanggap would be the last pay for the 30 days? No. Ang sinasabi po ng batas, dahil, remember yung pinag-usapan natin ha, just causes, authorized causes. Just causes, sino may kasalanan na naalis yung empleyado? Diba, empleyado, may ginawang kalokohan, kaya siya natanggal. Authorized causes, walang ginawang masama yung empleyado, nataon lang na circumstances are preventing the continuation of the employment. So, ang sinasabi ng batas, kung magtatanggal po tayo ng empleyado based on authorized causes, magbigay po tayo ng palubag loob. Pampalubag loob, attorney, I can't find that in the labor code. You won't, kasi ang technical term for pampalubag loob under the labor code is separation pay. That's how I explain it to my students and my clients. Ang separation pay po, pampalubag loob. Okay. So attorney, does this mean na pag just causes for termination, hindi mo kailangan bigyan ng pampalubag loob kasi siya yung may kasalanan? Hindi po. Separation pay is usually given only for authorized causes for termination. Now, for our particular authorized cause, which is retrenchment, attorney, how much do we need to pay? Okay, ito po, makinig ng maigi ha, very important kasi ang dami nagkakagulo rito. So under the labor code, ang nakasulat po is 1 month worth of pay or 1/2 monthly wage, whichever is higher. Okay, medyo magulo pakinggan sometimes. So here's a simple way of explaining that. Ang sinasabi po, 'di ba, meron dito 1 month pay. Then dito naman po, 1/2 month pay for every year of service. Tinatanong lang po, alin dito yung mas mataas? So it only kicks in if you're talking about employees na tumagal sa empleyo ninyo. So, kunwari, yung empleyado po, less than a year pumasok. So, kung 1/2 for every year of service, 1/2 months pay for every year of service, kung wala pang isang taon yung empleyado, ibibigay natin 1 month, di ba? Wrong po. Kasi ang minimum na pwedeng ibigay, at least 1 month salary. Pumapalo po itong 1/2 month salary kung multiple years na pumasok na yung empleyado with you guys. More specifically, 2 years and up. Kasi 2 years and up, usually, that's 1/2 month for every year of service, magkatapat na sila. So kung kunwari, 3 years worth of service ang ginawa, anong i-apply natin? 1 month? Or kung 3 years, di ba? 1/2 for every year of service. So 1/2 times 3, so that's 1.5, correct? So for 3 years of service, you will be giving the employee 1.5 months worth of pay as separation pay. Kasi ito yung higher. Hopefully that clears it up. Okay, pagdating sa computations. If you need more help with that, may mga nakikita ako actually ng infographic. Maganda eh. From Dole, they classified the different kinds of separation pay applicable. Depende kung ano yung authorized cost na gagamitin mo. Guys, take note pala ha, iba-iba po ang separation pay rate na ginagamit for different kinds of authorized causes for termination. For retrenchment, I'm saying it right now, 1/2 month's pay for every year of service. Okay? So, pero hindi ka pwedeng bumaba ng 1 month. Okay. I'm seeing a question. Okay, mamaya ko na lang sasagutin ha. Ipunin na lang natin mamaya. Kasi there's a couple of things I want to get through. At least makover natin. Now, attorney, paano kung inasuhan pa rin kami? Sinunod naman namin lahat ng sinasabi sa labor code, pero kinasuhan pa rin kami. How do we handle that? Kaya po important, kanina ko pa pinupukpok, yung importance ng documentation. Pinadala mo ba yung notice sa DOLE? Pinadala mo ba yung notice sa empleyado? Did you guys compute the separation pay properly? Kasi ito po exactly yung mga bagay na hahanapin ng DOLE or ng NLRC with you, assuming that a case comes up. Wala naman pong problema. Wag po kayo matakot kung sakaling kasuhan. No problem as long as you're able to provide the proper documentation. NLRC will side with you. Kasi NLRC recognizes that this is a right reserved to employers, di ba? As long as you follow the tips that I gave earlier today, I don't see any problems as long as you can justify na marami naman kaming ginawang trial na solutions pero wala talaga eh. Ito na lang talaga yung solution. Otherwise, magsasara yung kumpanya. NLRC will understand. Of course, NLRC will try to explore na, baka naman pwedeng ganito muna or transfer mo muna or ganito. They will try to find solutions for you with you. But if it's not possible, I think you guys should be honest with the mediator in case. Okay? So wala pong problema yon if ever. Now, I want to move on. Okay, so hopefully nasagot ko na lahat ng tanong ninyo when it comes to the legal way of doing retrenchment. Kasi papasok na tayo dito. How do you do it fairly? Okay, so nasagot na natin. Attorney, pwede bang mag-retrench? Pwede po, as long as you comply with all of the stuff that I discussed. How do you do it fairly? Okay, and that has to do with the question, attorney, basically, paano ko pipiliin kung sino sa mga empleyado ko yung tatamaan, yung tatanggalin ko? Okay, what don't you do? Ano yung wag na wag niyong gagawin? Random. Hindi pong, ewan ko, kukuha kayo ng mga pangalan ng empleyado tapos bubunot kayo galing sa balota kung sino tatamaan. I think that's very insensitive. Please avoid doing random stuff kasi you have to be able to choose a standard that's fair bago ka pumili kung sino yung tatanggalin. And random, it will not help morale, guys. It will not. Parang masyado namang masyadong ang trato mo sa mga tao, parang inanimate objects eh. Parang wala, hindi sila tao, di ba? Parang inventory lang na i-raffle off. I disagree with that. Your situation might be different, but I think it's very insensitive and inhumane. I don't recommend that. So, attorney, what do you recommend in the first place? Okay. So, from my experience, ang daming employers na problema na, attorney, paano ko malalaman kung sino yung tatanggalin, sino yung pipiliin? Okay. There is a step that most people miss. And ito ipapaalala ko na po. Why not ask your employees? Kasi believe it or not, may mga empleyado po na actually nahihiya lang to bring it up. So para hindi ka mamroblema kung sino yung mga tatamaan ng retrenchment, why not open the discussion muna? Meron bang gustong voluntarily mag-resign? That way, you can create a separation package for them. Kung ano man yung ibibigay sana ninyo as separation pay, imbis na idadaan nyo ng retrenchment, mag-resign na lang kayo, I'll give the equivalent if not more. Bawas po sa sakit ng puso at sakit ng ulo ninyo kung sakaling voluntary, mag-resign na lang po yung ibang empleyado. Again, the magic word here is voluntary. Attorney, parang nahihiya ako i-open in discussion. Well, bahala ka. All I'm saying is, from my experience, if you open up the topic, baka ikaw ang magulat na meron palang mga nag-iisip na. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let's face it, ang dami pong empleyado, takot right now talagang pumasok. But nahihiya lang to open it up with their employers. So if you have those kinds of employees within your ranks, then, di ba, at least they self-select. Bawas na po yung kailangan problemahin. Now, attorney, I tried that. I opened up the discussion, pero wala pong pumayag. So, how do I choose kung sino po sa team namin yung isa-subject namin to retrenchment? Okay, so here are a few things. Number one, may committee ba kayo wherein management and employees are represented? You might want to involve them in this decision, di ba? So, itipon po ninyo yung management employee committee and then try to come out with ways wherein pwedeng pumili fairly kung sino yung masasubject to retrenchment. What is my recommendation? So kung kunwari, nakaupo na kayo dyan, committee kayo kunwari, kausap nyo ako, invite ninyo ako sa committee meeting. So you're asking me, attorney, what are some standards that we can use para fair naman po yung pagpili kung sino yung tatamaan ng retrenchment? First na sasabihin ko sa inyo is, try to go for employment status. So, attorney, anong ibig mo sabihin? Hindi po lahat ng empleyado pare-pareho po yung status. So yung mga medyo least preferred statuses, yun ang unahin ninyong tanggalin. Attorney, ano ibig mo sabihin? Okay, do you have probationary employees right now versus regular? Meron ba kayong mga project employees versus regular? I would probably protect yung mga regular. So, ang uunahin ko for consideration, yung mga probationary, yung mga project, I would probably protect yung regular status. So, that's one standard that you can utilize. Does it make sense? For me, yes. Kasi between a probationary and regular employee, I would it makes much more sense legally to protect yung mga regular na. Okay, so attorney, that's a very good starting point. May iba ka pa bang standards na marirecommend? Yes, meron pa. Another thing is performance. So kung kunwari, pare-pareho na tong regular, paano ako pipili kung sino dyan? Well, titignan ko yung performance. Diba? Yung mga high performers, I will protect you. Those with low performances, I will probably consider you for as candidates for retrenchment if ever. Okay, so attorney, pwede pala yun. So you go for employment status, you go for performance, pwede mo ipagsama yun. Yeah, pwede. You can do a hybrid. Actually, may pangatlo pa akong level na pwedeng i-recommend. The final one could be seniority. Again, could be guys, kasi these are standards that you can choose from. So between two employees, sino ang i-retain ko? Pwedeng gamitin nila ng standard, sino yung mas matagal sa kumpanya? Because, well, ostensibly, that shows loyalty. Diba? So for me, it makes sense to reward loyal employees. Okay, so I gave you 3 examples. Again, again, it's up to you to choose what kind of standard you want to apply. Ang point ko lang guys, choose a fair standard. Hindi, wag ninyong gagawin. Ito pinagsasabihan ko na kayo. Wag yung random at wag favoritism. Wag. Kasi ano to paborito to ni boss or bata to ni ganito. No, that's not a way to run a retrenchment program. There has to be an objective standard na pinagbasihan. Otherwise, you can find yourselves vulnerable to a case for discrimination kung sakali. Delikado po. So, pick a standard. Mas kampante po ako kung yung kliyente ko or yung standard may na-identify. And if you guys can put it down in writing and yun yung lumabas as a result of sorting your employee list, then ayun, I think that's a fair way of going about the retrenchment procedure. Is that clear, guys? I'd like to hear from you sa chat box. Okay ba? Kung nakakahabol, pasabi naman, nakakahabol po. Ayan, okay, clear naman
Clear
po.
po. Yes, attorney, nakakahabol daw po sila.
In case you guys don't feel it, we're actually compressing siguro around 3 to 4 months of law school in one afternoon. Medyo mahaba pong pinag-uusapan to sa law school, but I'm doing my best to simplify things for you guys. Okay, so in case may mga malabo po, let me know so that we can clarify and we can slow down. Okay, now this brings me to the final area, and that is how to do it in a humane way. So, attorney, iba pa pala yun sa legal, fair, humane. Oo, makatao. Diba? Huwag natin kakalimutan yung pagiging makatao kasi at the end of the day, guys, you're dealing with people. This is not just legal exercise. Oo nga, karapatan mo, but imagine what it does for your team's morale. Huwag naman natin pababayaan yung mga tao na just because I exercised my right under the labor code, nakalimutan mo na tao kausap mo. So attorney, what are your tips? Paano natin i-respect yung humanity aspect of retrenchment? Number one, how do you deliver the message? So, from experience, ang ina-advise ko sa mga kliyente ko, guys, if you're undergoing retrenchment, I would probably set a meeting with the employees. Huwag niyong gagawin na parang yung notice ninyo for retrenchment, biglang matatanggap na lang nila sa bahay or magugulat na lang sila na meron na walang pasabi-sabi. Masakit po 'yun sa empleyado, especially in COVID season, di ba? Parang lahat nga takot na and then biglang makakatanggap ka lang. What I would advise, ipatawag po ninyo to a meeting. Explain, at least take the time na maipakita sa kanila all of the efforts that were made to try and save the position pero talagang wala At least give them the respect and the time. Kaya yung tignan diretso sa mata to say na we did everything pero pasensya ka na, ito talaga yung kinalabasan. And if you want, you can serve the letter there. But for me, just the letter, masakit po yun. If you can include the human touch to be able to mitigate the effect emotionally, that would be preferred. And you might be asking, attorney, paano ko ba pipigilan na kasuhan kami? That's the secret. Most of the employees, from my experience po, na pumupunta ng DOLE para mag-file ng case, ang feeling kasi nila napabayaan sila or binastos sila ng management. By treating your employees with respect, you're actually reducing the probability na kakasuhan po kayo. Trust me guys, this is something my team and I deal with on a weekly basis, and respect goes a long way talaga. Most of the time, yung mga nagkakaso po, para mang-inis na lang ng management kasi feeling nila nabastos sila. Take that out of the equation, babawas po yung probability na kakasuhan kayo. So take the time to talk to your employees. That's one. Number two, dun sa letter, di ba? Remember, I told you guys kanina na you should inform them kailan yung last day, ito yung 30 days, na nag-decide po yung management na tanggalin sila via retrenchment. I would add something po very crucial. Kung sa letter po, bibigyan nyo ng respeto yung mga tao and you actually replicate in the letter the efforts that the company went through to try and save their job, malaking bagay po yun. At least bigyan niyang pampalubag-loob yung mga empleyado ninyo with the satisfaction knowing that the management tried to protect them. Management tried to do everything in their power to try and retain the position. Okay, so if you were able to put that in writing, that would go a long way. As I told you in the first part, the law requires that the employers have exhausted all other means. Kumbaga, last resort po yung pagre-retrench. And this advice here replicates that. Kasi kung kunwari pumunta po ng NLRC, ng DOLE, nag-complain, nakita po nung taga-check, nung mediator, ginawa naman pala lahat ng kumpanya, lahat ng possible remedyo, pero hindi talaga That would strengthen your legal position. Because again, retrenchment is a final option. If you're able to incorporate all of the other solutions that you tried into the notice itself, it will strengthen it. Attorney, is that required? It's not. Ang requirement lang po under the labor code, notification of retrenchment 30 days before and then yung effectivity date. I'm teaching you best practices na out of experience. Ilagay po ninyo lahat ng sinubukan ninyong gawin. While it's not a legal requirement, it will strengthen your position. Now, another thing, I'm very big on being generous with employees. Again, remember, just causes may ginawang kalokohan yung empleyado, ito wala akong pakialam dyan. Parang, minsan pinapagalitan ko pa yung empleyado, yung kliyente ko, parang huwag ka magbibigay ng pera kasi you're actually tolerating it. Iba yung dating yan sa mga empleyado na kahit pala magnakaw kami, kahit may gawang kaming kalokohan sa kumpanya dahil mabait si boss, may makukuha ka pa rin. No, you don't. But for authorized terminations, I try to encourage my clients to be as generous as possible. Here's a caveat. Okay, so di ba, bibigay ninyo yung last pay. Kinocompute na natin, paalis na So last pay, yung mga unavailed of na SIL, yung mga leaves, and then of course yung separation pay. Attorney, what do I call kung sakaling gusto kong mag-abot lang? Do not, I repeat, do not call it separation pay. Huwag niyong pasakitin yung ulo ng mga practitioners kagaya ko. Why? If you call it separation pay has a technical meaning under the labor code. And dahil yung iba pong mga HR or clerk, hindi alam kung ano yung tatawag. Separate naman po ito from employment. So ipasok na natin under separation pay. Wag po. It leads to more confusion. Ang nagiging net effect po from my experience, kahit na yung mga taong nasa just causes for termination, kapag nagkaso po sa NLRC, humihingi ng separation pay. So tinatanong ko, ano po ang basis ninyo? Na-separate ako, di ba? So I want to do away with that. If you're going to give separation pay, make sure that it's separation pay under the labor code. Kung magbibigay kayo ng tulong, you call it by the proper term, which is financial assistance. Huwag niyo pong paguluhin ang buhay natin lahat. Call it what it is, financial assistance. Don't lump it together with separation pay. Now, attorney, pwede ba ako magbigay ng financial assistance? Yes, there's nothing preventing you under the labor code from doing so. In fact, encouraged pa po ng labor code. The more help you can provide employees, the better it would be. And actually, nire-recognize po yan ng NLRC at saka ng DOLE. Kung sakaling nakatanggap po ng financial assistance, they take it into consideration, assuming po na mag-complain yung empleyado. So again, it strengthens your position that you had nothing to hide. Clean hands, di ba? You had nothing to hide. You had every intention to help. Nataon lang po na talagang ito po yung economic climate natin ngayon. Wala akong magawa. Kailangan ako magtanggal ng tao. Now, what's another thing that you can do on the humane basis? Okay. Attorney, what are your thoughts on rehiring? Uy, magandang tanong, di ba? Kasi hindi naman tayo hopefully forever na ganito na COVID, pandemic. What if things start getting better? Kapag nandiyan na yung vaccine, di ba? Ayan, medyo may pag-asa na. What are your thoughts about rehiring? Ako lang to be humane about it, yung mga tinanggal ko, kung sakali, they will be given priority for rehiring. I will prioritize them. Kapag medyo okay na yung takbo ng negosyo, I would probably put their names, contact details in a separate file Once maging okay, kailangan ko ng tao, automatic kayo yung una kong kukunin. That's a humane way of treating them. Or kung ako mismo, hindi ko kayo kayang i-rehire, what I tell my clients and my students, guys, yung mga for retrenchment, try to help them get employment from your network. So kung kunwari, I'm in the manufacturing sector, nagbawas talaga ng demand. So nagtanggal ako ng tao here. More often than not, may mga kasamahan ako na tuloy-tuloy naman yung operations and nangangailangan ng tao. So one option that you guys can explore would be to compile the people that you retrenched in a list, get their permission kung pwede ninyong i-alok sila for other prospective employers. Attorney, bakit naman kailangan ko pa magpaalam? Data privacy. Kasi you'll be disclosing their details to other people. I've seen this in some Facebook groups. Actually, mabenta eh. The recent one that I saw was, ang sabi dun sa post, "Hi guys, does anyone need a pool of web designers? I have a list ready here." Nako, Diyos ko, tinatad yung comments na, me, PM me the list. So, ako na yung napagod, tinurn off ko na yung notifications. But sabi ko, I like the spirit there kasi parang ako mismo, I won't be able to accommodate these people, but there are some people ready to absorb it. Kasi guys, don't be mistaken na parang ngayon dahil COVID, walang naghahanap ng empleyado. Actually, marami pong opening right now. You just have to know where to look. And if you can help your employees who got retrenched make that transition, I think they will value that a lot. And that would go a long way towards helping them recover. So, in summary, okay, so yung pinagdaanan po natin, tatlong areas po. Legal. Attorney, pwede bang magtanggal? Yes, and we went through the whole process of how retrenchments work. What's the process required na may notification ka? Ano ba yung separation pay? And how it would look. If you guys missed that, pwede namang i-replay mamaya. Next part is we discussed the fair way of doing it. Paano pipiliin kung sino yung mga tatamaan or may involved sa retrenchment program. Ang takeaway doon, you can choose whatever metric you want as long as you stick to a fair standard. Pili ka, how did you guys do it? Hindi pwedeng random, hindi pwedeng dahil paborito or kakilala or malakas dito. You have to pick a fair standard para hindi po kayo pwedeng tamaan ng discrimination accusations. And then finally, humane. Huwag po natin kalimutan, we're dealing with people here. Let's not treat them as if they're inventory or inanimate objects. There's a people component here. So the takeaway there is try to give your employees respect in the process, and that would probably minimize the possibility that you will get hit with NLRC cases after. Okay. So, that is my presentation. Irish, ayan, saktong-sakto, 4 o'clock. Oh.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Erwin. I think, well, everyone, a big hand to our speaker, Attorney Erwin Zagala. You know what, Attorney? Questions are piling up as of now.
Marami na ba?
But before that, Attorney Sag, we will just pause for a moment for a quick break, and then we'll answer the questions. So everyone, guys, we will pause for a moment. Please stay tuned, and we will be right back.
By the way, Irish, I have a special gift for those of you guys who will be back after the break. So stay tuned for that.
Please stay tuned on that. Okay.
Okay. 2 minutes.